I've got some wonderful George Cleverleys to show you here. Sadly, I can't get everything all into the same shot. We've got a few here, and then there's a few more, which I'll have to sort of one by one, they're down here. I'll have to lift them into frame. Now, they're all bespoke, and they're all made at different times, and most of them sort of conform strictly to this George Cleverley silhouette. But there's a couple of pairs in here which are most unusual for George Cleverley. This one, for instance, you know, there's absolutely no mistaking. Let me just turn the LED down, that's a bit bright. There we go, that's better. There's absolutely no mistaking. They just couldn't be anything else. The way they swell out here, and the sort of chiseled sort of toes. Those of you that are familiar with Cleverley would spot these at least 50 meters away. And similarly, this pair, and they've got almost identical sort of profiles. These were made in 1969. These were made in 68. Now, here's another one. I think these are 1970. Once again, they've got this gorgeous sort of quite pronounced here and very, very chiseled. Let's just, and there's another pair made on the same last for the same gentleman. They were made in 1973, these 1970. Now, these are one of the weird ones. I don't know if you can see what it is that I'm going to point out. Those of you that are familiar with Bespoke Cleverley will have already seen it. Let's just pop it back with, you see, this brown one, it's so very round. It's not classically chiselled like a Cleverley would normally be. It's a gorgeous shoe, it's absolutely stunning. Quite old. It's from Cleverley on Cork Street. So I don't know, perhaps in the mid 1960s. Still got this original sole, original heel. And this is unmistakably Cleverley when you start looking at this. But the actual toe shape, it's just so very round. The medallion is typically of Cleverley, but it just, see this one, look, it's a very similar medallion. I think the lights, there we go, yeah, the light's not quite so bright. Yeah, they've got almost identical medallions, but the toe shapes are so different. This lighter one's more typical of Cleverley. That one, it looks more like Henry Maxwell to me. I know that it's not. I was suspicious when I saw them, and you know, I thought, it's not difficult to peel the heel socks out and stick them in another shoe, and but the sole is unmistakably George Cleverley. That's there's no question, but it's kind of weird. And here's another one. This one's off the same last again, and it's very, very round. It doesn't have the intense chiselling. It's more conservative, let's say. You know, the I don't know. You know, they're both gorgeous. My personal preference is for the classical Cleverley. Yeah, but these, you know, the rounded ones are really lovely. Once again, totally original, got a beveled waist, and you can just sort of, if you're familiar with looking at them, you just get to recognise who made this, you know, even without looking at the top. I'm familiar with looking at them, so I'd know that was George Cleverley. These, once again, these are they're a bit more recent. When were they made? 2012. But once again, very, very pronounced here, and just gorgeously, you know, just chiselled and quite extreme. And once again, they've got the beveled waist, and there's another one, which is almost identical. Sort of, they were made on different lasts. But once again, it's got this really, really sort of intense and the chisel. Let's just go back to the one that I'm saying is just bizarrely, just doesn't look like a Cleverley, you know, but they are, absolutely they are, but they're not classically clever. To me, they really do look more like Henry Maxwell. And what else have I got? I've got another one here, which is very classical, a bit scruffy, this one. It's filthy, I haven't really restored it yet. But it's got the swollen edge and the very, very chiseled toe. That one really does, you know, that one's 1976, made on Savile Row. Yeah, they were trading in the basement at Huntsman at the time, I believe, on Savile Row. And this is the final one over here, which once again is a little bit on the rounded side. It doesn't swell out quite so much as the others here, and it's just more rounded. It's not quite so flat and chiselled. It's a late 70s, 78 or 79, I think. Well, you know, it's got the beveled waist. And let's just bring a couple of pairs of Henry Maxwell's in. I've got some Henry Maxwell's, and they're just stunning, stunning shoes. And if we pick up this George Cleverley, see, look, it appears to match the sort of pattern in the silhouette, not the pattern, the silhouette of the Henry Maxwell's. So, but that medallion on the front is 100% Cleverley. There's just no mistaking it. It's I just find it unusual that these 2 or 3 pairs don't fit the rest of the silhouette. But I thought, you know, I'd share that with you. It fascinated me, and I adore all of these shoes. And there's some of them I've not really even. This one I'm going to be restoring very soon. It's glorious, but it does need some restoration. I'll be sympathetic. I like the aged patina, but it does need restoration. These need more cleaning. They're a bit dirty, but gorgeous buckskin. These I've not touched yet. They need little more than moisturising and a good polish. And likewise, this pair. They don't really look like George Cleverley's, do they? They just don't, but they are. As soon as you turn it over, you think, ah, yes, the sole signature. But the top and the toe shape, it isn't signature Cleverley. Most unusual, but it's a bit dry, this one. It's got some wrinkles in the vamps, and you know, they're older than they look. These are they're about mid-60s actually. You know, they're Dover Street once again. So let's have a look. When were these made? One very, very extreme. They were made in 2008 or 9. So you can see there's a vast sort of difference in the dates. But the styling is so very similar. I'm talking about the silhouette now, not the styling, the silhouettes. You know, they're so classically George Cleverley. You couldn't mistake either of those. Look at the chiselling on the toes of these tan ones. You know, but they're sort of 40 odd years apart. When were they made? 68, and they were made in 2008. So yeah, is that 50 years? Quite a long time anyway. Yeah, nearly 50 years. No, 40 years. Beg your pardon, my maths is terrible. Forgive me embarrassing myself.